Hi, this is Shawnee Lavender, and today I want to talk with you about something that I see a lot with my clients and other parents that I work with and talk to. And it's really something that has a negative effect both on them as a parent, but also on their children. And it's something that in my conversations, what I've noticed is most parents don't really see it as a problem until I point it out. And I'm not trying to make problems in your lives, and yet I want to raise awareness so that you can check in and see if this is something that you think is affecting you. So here's the issue. It is perfectionism. Now, many of you may think, well, I'm not trying to be a perfect parent, and it may not appear like that. What I can tell you, though, is, again, what I hear in conversations, the way parents talk about their parenting experience, indicates to me that when they mess up, and that's by their own admission, there's something they did that isn't in keeping with their values or the way they want to parent, they feel extreme guilt and even shame over having made that mistake. Also, a lot of parents have just a really high anxiety level about just making all the right decisions, whether that started in infancy, like, do we vaccinate or not vaccinate? Do I breastfeed or bottle feed? Do we co-sleep or sleep in a crib? And it goes on, it's like, oh, well, what do I tell my child about sex when they get older? What do I, say about the world situation? How much information do I share? It goes on and on. So there's a lot of stress that parents feel and worry about what's the right thing to do. So that is part of what I'm talking about, is this idea that we have to be perfect, we have to get it just right. So because you're living this experience that doesn't work. I want to tell you, though, today, 3 specific things that are the problems with that behavior when we choose to be so hard on ourselves and so insistent, really, on getting things right. So the number one challenge with that is that kind of mental setup and that kind of striving really saps your energy. Because in a way, what you're doing in your mind, it's like you're always sort of a step behind. It's like you're trying to, where's the right thing? And you do spend a lot of energy trying to figure out, trying to get it just right and know what's right and, all that stuff. So there's a lot of energy that gets expended that is not directly related to what you want to be doing with your child. So it can really just sap your energy, and you need that energy then to respond with empathy when your child's upset and to be the kind of parent that you want to be. So that's the number one problem, is saps your energy, that striving to always get it right. The second problem is that without knowing it, without you knowing it rather, you're setting your child up potentially for their own perfectionism and their own habit of being super self-critical. And part of the reason, and this, they model us. So we can say, oh, it's fine to make mistakes. It's no big deal. And yet, if we are critical when we make mistakes, if we castigate ourselves, if our children see us really getting on our own back for not being in the physical shape we want to be, or not baking the cookies for school, or, whatever it is, then they're learning, oh, what you need to do is be really tough on yourself and don't forgive and just keep on your own back and make things right. And I know that's not the model you want for them, because I know it doesn't work for you, and you don't want them to have to unlearn that in their later life. So the third thing that doesn't work about striving for perfection is it doesn't model getting through the problems of life for our children. So in other words, when we look and appear like we've got it all together and we don't have bumps, our children aren't seeing from us, what do you do when you do hit bumps? What do you do when you've said something really mean-spirited to somebody? What do you do when you've told a lie? They don't need us to tell them, oh, well, you tell the truth or you apologize. They want to see us do that, and that's how they're going to learn it and internalize that. So when we strive, instead of for perfection, if we strive for doing our best and being a resilient person, here's what we can model for them instead. We can model resilience. We can model what does recovery look like? What does repair look like? And those are the things, those are the skills that we want them to have for all areas of their life as they grow. Because we know, we've lived life, so we're adults, and we know that there are going to be bumpy times, there are going to be things that don't work. And so we want our children to be able to still love themselves and go, yeah, even though I did this thing that I regret, I'm still lovable, I'm still worthy. And we also want them to know how to repair that relationship that maybe they just did something that impaired that relationship in some way. So the best way for them to do that, learn to do that rather, is to see us do it. So it's not about just tell your kids, oh, here's how you'd apologize, or you should say you're sorry. That's just a bunch of talk. What you want to do is model that for them. So what I'm inviting you to do after watching this video is just take a moment and check in with yourself and think, am I holding myself to a standard that really isn't attainable and basically adding stress to my life, draining myself of some energy and setting a model for my child that I really don't want? Or am I doing my best and striving for my best in honesty and at the same time being fully willing to show up as somebody who makes mistakes and who is fallible and is human and can get through that with grace, humor, lightness, and show my child how it is to be a human in this world, an imperfect human. And so I'm inviting you to take that self-reflective moment, check in with yourself, and then make some adjustments based on what you discover. If you want to follow up with me, if you have some questions about what I've shared, you can certainly post them below the video, and I'm glad to engage with you. And if you see that this is something that it's hard for you to relinquish, it's like, no, this is so important, I've got to get it right, I'd love to talk with you, because I can guarantee you that there's a way to still strive for your absolute best as a conscious parent and not burden yourself or your child with the unrealistic goal of perfection. So I hope this video has been useful. If you do have questions or comments, please post those and feel free to share. And also, you can always find me at my website, ShawneeLavender.com, and there'll be info at the end of the video. You can look through more of my YouTube videos, and if you're on Facebook, I have a community there of conscious parents who engage in conversation about how to be a conscious parent and what's working and what's challenging. And that group is called the Conscious Moms Circle. And again, that's on Facebook. So thanks so much for sharing this time with me. I am Shawnee Lavender. I'm the Conscious Moms Coach, and I wish you a most wonderful day of not perfection, but something just as good and a lot less stressful. Thanks. Bye now.